You're listening to your Wednesday Morning Monarchy, a Food World Order Wednesday, and we will get back on track with our buddy Gavin Mounsey. So we had a few off. We had a little bit of springtime off of the air, which did happen to exactly impact your Mounsey Minute, you guys. For the last over 2 years, second Wednesday of the month, we give you what I coined as the Mounsey Minutes. I'll give you the link to all the previous posts on Media Monarchy. We will link you to his recipes for reciprocity.com. And I'll give you just a few notes from episode 29. Gavin's a fun guy. Shiitake mushrooms. Lentinula edodes. Widely known as the king of mountain treasures in China and East Asia due to their exceptional nutritional value, unique culinary aroma, and extensive health-enhancing properties. Shiitake mushrooms. It looks like shiitake, but it's two eyes. A symbol of youth and longevity in China. Long considered a medicinal mushroom due to their health-promoting compounds, these delicious gourmet shrooms have a long and illustrious history in Asian culinary and medical practices. They offer a rich and exotic umami flavor and can bring new life to many of your favorite meals. Mounsey Minute, episode 29, Gavin's a fun guy.
This is Gavin Mounsey for Media Monarchy, and this is the Mounsey Minute. This month, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite mushrooms to use in the kitchen and to grow at home. Shiitake, widely known as the king of the mountain treasures in China and East Asia due to the exceptional nutritional value, unique culinary aroma, and extensive health-enhancing properties. I love working with these mushrooms because essentially it allows me to take wind-fallen large branches from the woods and wood chips and turn them into food. So in my article, I have in-depth information, and they can produce, depending on the density of the wood and the species, from 5 to 10 years. So you have basically a food storage system of a weatherproof piece of wood that's inoculated with the shiitake spawn, the mycelium, and then you can actually simulate the conditions that would produce mushrooms naturally, which is spring and fall moisture and temperatures, by taking that log at any time throughout the year and dunking it underwater for 24 hours, and that'll stimulate mushroom production. So you have a shelf-stable, nutrient-dense, protein-rich, medicinal food source stored in the log, and then you can turn that into food at any moment by just dunking it in the water. And in addition to the great taste and nutrition, I love how through working with turning wood into food through cultivating mushrooms, you're not only healing your body, but you're giving back to the soil. Because after you're done with producing the mushrooms with that log for a number of years, it's now been partially broken down, partially decomposed, and you could add that one back to your garden soil, let's say in the form of a hugelkultur, and that's a rich nutrient source for all the soil organisms to eat, and then that's going to turn into your veggies and all of your other crops down the road. Shiitake mushrooms are one of my favorite survival foods, so I try to grow as much of them as I can. I also know a local guy who cultivates them organically on wood chips, and I will dry them old school fashion, so I'll just dehydrate them. And then I also have a freeze dryer, so I'll freeze dry some. But drying or freeze drying these for the long term, you have a protein, vitamin, mineral rich food that at any moment you can add to some soups, you can rehydrate, and you can add to a range of different dishes. And you've got like a full spectrum of nutrition in that mushroom. Shiitake mushrooms contain polysaccharides, beta-glucans. Those are medicinal sugars. They're rich in antioxidants. They have selenium, high protein, like I said, riboflavin, niacin, copper, vitamin B5, manganese, zinc, vitamin B6, folate, and vitamin D, as well as medicinal terpenoids. Now, for the vitamin D, they naturally, like human skin, can transfer UV rays into the precursor to vitamin D in the body. But what you can actually do is you can take shiitake mushrooms, whether they're store-bought or homegrown, you can place them out in the sunlight, directly sunlight, for about 1 hour, and you increase the vitamin D content significantly in the mushrooms before you cook them and eat them. And now, shiitake mushrooms were used in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries, and for good reason. They offer the medicinal actions of immune system enhancement, osteoprotective benefits, so enhancing your bone health, hepatoprotective benefits, enhancing liver health, neuroprotective benefits, reproductive health enhancing benefits, radioprotective benefits, and a range of other ones. I'm not going to list the whole thing here. Now, as far as growing these, they're very versatile, which is why I include them in my chapter of my next book, regards to food forest design, because you can grow them in zones 1 to 11. So that's the far north Arctic Circle all the way up to the subtropics. Now, in food forest design, these are opening up a really awesome potential to stack another function within the food forest. But when you stack up logs inoculated with something like shiitake, lion's mane, a range of other mushrooms like oyster, underneath of your fruit trees and your nut trees, you're stacking on another form of protein production and soil building at the same time. So we can really scale up food production per acre by adding in mushroom cultivation and food forest design. Now, another thing I like to do when I don't have access to a big property like I don't now for a food forest, I have our backyard. It's packed full of mushroom cultivation and fruit trees, but I don't have enough space for nut trees. So I'll take logs that I've inoculated with shiitake mushrooms and I will go stash them out in the parks in places where they're secluded off the beaten path, where I'm harvesting from other trees out there like hickory trees and nut trees that I go to annually to harvest. And I'm wild sowing things over there like pawpaws and ramps. And so I got a little patch of things that I go to in the woods. I'm doing some guerrilla food forest gardening, and I've also got mushrooms that are going to produce seasonally out there. So everyone can do that to some degree. Some of my favorite recipes to enjoy the harvest include not just the stir fries and soups that I mentioned, but also like to make dosa batter fried mushrooms. And then I like to make spring rolls. So I include a bunch of different veggies from the garden and then wrap them up with shiitake mushrooms, fry them in some coconut oil, got some delicious appetizers. I make war wonton soup with shiitake mushrooms inside of the dumplings. Well, I hope this will inspire you guys to tap into the ancient alchemy of teaming up with fungi to turn wood into food, because shiitakes just have an amazing culinary potential and they're very delicious and nutritious. So that's it for me this month, guys. I'll catch you next month. Take care.
Sisters, please get ready. Brothers, sisters, please get ready. Brothers, sisters, please get ready. For the time is drawing near. Oh, there'll be signs and wonders. Oh, there'll be signs and wonders. Oh, there'll be signs and wonders. For the time is drawing near. We'll turn round and just start over. We'll turn round and just start over. We'll turn round and just start over. For the time is drawing near. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. For the time is drawing near. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. For the time is drawing near. For the time is drawing near. For the time is drawing near.
Rising Appalachia on Media Monarchy. I believe in being ready from their 2019 album Ley Lines, a self-release from Rising Appalachia. I believe in being ready because nothing says you're ready for anything like learning to turn wood into nutrient-dense food that can be stored in a portable, rock-solid, shelf-stable, weatherproof medium. Huge thanks to Gavin Mounsey. Episode 29, Gavin's a fun guy. And as always, we give you the separate MP3 download link for your Mounsey Minute so you can share it with your mom so she doesn't have to listen to me swear about stuff. And where, of course, would we be without our original cover art? Huge thanks to my man Hybrid for making cover art for bands that only exist here in the Media Monarchy Kingdom. Mounsey Minutes. Gavin's a fun guy. Show my man some love, sillylines.art. In the context of the song, the line serves as a declaration of independence and a response to critics, rivals, or former associates. Hey, also, thanks to Hybrid for helping me fix my logo on the cover art as well. I screwed that up, but I got it back. It was hidden inside a PSD file, which I don't really use anymore. Noted in the chat, good to keep on hand in dried form, sold as Chinese mushrooms at some of the Asia marts if you are lucky enough to have those around you. Rehydrate in warm water, use the water in your sauce and broth. Yeah, I like it. Stealth shroom growing. And that shit is wild. The pictures, the holes in a branch to make shrooms. Wildtype says we used to inoculate mushroom logs with plugs in my permaculture courses. 25 people makes the work go fast. Otherwise, it could take a little while.